Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Okay, I have a lot of updates to give today in terms of everything that was happening with my Snark page, and there's just been a lot of discourse and a lot of conversation, and I do also want to clarify that I am now moving forward in a legal investigation into everything as well because a line was crossed. There is some things I want to talk about, and then there's things that I've written down that I want to touch on as well. Now, if you do not know what happened, basically the Adam McIntyre snark on Reddit were posting my visa and were for 2 weeks having a conversation in terms of I was in an incorrect visa in the country. They were saying that I was illegally lying in America. They were also basically implying that I wasn't paying tax, that I was scamming the tax system in America, the government, all the rest. And they were actively posting that they were reporting me to ICE. They posted screenshots of submissions to ICE about me. And they would write things like, I'm normally against ICE, but in this instance, and Reddit have really strict rules, which is like a contact rule as well. And all of that was broken, obviously, but there were a lot of other things that were broken in the process of that. Now, I just really quickly want to get to what I've written down because I want to make sure that I'm repeating it properly. And also I had help getting this written because I want to make sure that I'm saying the proper things. But basically, again, clarification, I was the target of a deliberate and malicious false report to the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. It was made by the individuals on the subreddit r/Adam McIntyre Snark, and they have been posting on an unmoderated subreddit about me for the longest time. The moderators literally dropped off, and it was a free-for-all, and it turned into people literally trying to get me arrested, trying to get me thrown in detention centers, and all the rest, okay? Now, it crossed a line whenever you start trying to put me in danger. You know, people have been saying, well, how can you be for Snark? How can you be against Snark? How can you be all these things? But now it's a problem for you. No, that's not actually true. What I've always been consistent in saying, even in my last video when I first talked about this, is I've kind of always had this approach whenever it came to Snark, which is with the content that I make, which is talking about other people and commentary and can be drama. I was like, I kind of put my hands up and I'm like, well, who am I to say what other people are posting, specifically when there's so many Snark pages online, right? Because I don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. And I also kept that standard when it came to my Snark. And there was also 3 other Snarks about me that were simultaneously running in the process of this. And whenever I would hire managers, the first thing they would say is, for brands, we want to get rid of the Snark pages. And I always said that I didn't want that to happen because then I could be seen as a hypocrite. You know what I mean? You could argue that, oh, well, Adam's talking about people, but we can't talk about him. That's kind of been my attitude, right? And now it was very easy in the past whenever managers were saying to take down Snark pages because they were uploading copyrighted content. You could argue infringement, you could argue harassment, all of the rest, right? But I have said this time and time again, I actively went out of my way not to get my subreddit taken down because I didn't want anyone to ever call me a hypocrite, which is ironic because even in the process of people trying to get me deported or arrested and submitting me to ICE incorrectly, there's still people that are like, oh, well, Adam's a hypocrite. And I'm like, actually, you have no idea what you're talking about. So it literally crossed a line. This was no longer snarking. This was putting me in government records incorrectly because you don't know how to read a visa. So again, I just want to clarify that it was someone or multiple people that were falsely reporting me to ICE. They claimed that I was in the US illegally or violating immigration laws. And again, this was absolutely false. I am in full compliance with immigration law, and there is no violation of status, residency, or visa terms. I'm on an O1 work visa, so I could complete my tour. I have one more show in New York in like 2 days, and then I leave America. That is how my visa, a work visa, works. However, it's important to clarify that ICE take every report seriously, even anonymous ones. This now means that my name, Adam McIntyre, and my personal information have been submitted to a federal agency with the power to investigate that, detain, or deport me. This is not a joke, and this is where it has crossed a line. You're now dealing with federal agencies having the ability to do whatever they want to me, which we're already seeing them do to Hispanic and Latino communities, where they are genuinely kidnapping from these communities. And people are trying to weaponize that system about creators that they do not like, when we should not be feeding into this system in the first place. Now, again, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, conduct raids without prior warning. They hold individuals in detention centers for however long they want. They separate families and restrict access to legal counsel. And they also just have a lot of... The system can be moved in whatever way they want. Okay? And again, the target of this is mainly the Hispanic and Latino communities around the world. But we are now seeing people on snark pages weaponize this and this system, which is a flawed system and a completely disgusting one in general, about people they don't like online, which is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly scary. So I just want to clarify that filing a report to ICE is not the same as trying to cancel someone. It is so far past that. It's an attempt to use the United States immigration system as a tool of harassment. You're literally trying to turn the government into a weapon against creators or people that you do not like. Now, again, this was important for me to write down and make sure that I repeat here. I want to tell you that I'm not trying to make the issue of ICE, deportation, or immigration trauma about myself in any way, shape, or form. There are immigrants, asylum seekers, refugees who are the ones who are being directly and violently impacted by these systems in ways that I, Adam McIntyre, will never fully be able to understand ever. Now, we're seeing families being separated, we're seeing children being detained, and people are struggling and being sent away to detention centers, and we never hear updates from them. You know, now, I cannot stress enough how I'm not trying to make in any way that about me. I'm trying to highlight how people are now using that flawed system as a harassment tool. So again, what happened to me was an attempt to abuse that system, and that's why I'm speaking out. I'm not trying to center this around myself in any way, shape, or form with the ongoing crisis, but I'm trying to call attention to the fact that there are people that are now treating the system like a game, like a weapon that they can literally just aim at someone that they do not like. Now, again, I do want to clarify that even false accusations can trigger responses from ICE agents, and it's incredibly terrifying that people online who do not know you can report you to that system, and that case can become a case. So again, I'm speaking from my own experience and what happened to me here, but I do just want to let you know that what is actually going on is so far beyond me, and I'm so aware of that. When we're starting to weaponize the government against people that we don't like online, it is dangerous, it's abusive, and it's insane. It truly, truly, truly is insane. So I also want to clarify that because of this, I've had to do a formal investigation into this, which is retaining legal counsel. And there's now going to be an investigation into the source of these false reports. We are going to be working with Reddit, or we're going to be attempting to work with Reddit for data requests, because literally under US law, filing a false report to a federal agency is a criminal offense, which these people on my snark were happily posting that they were doing. And basically, it makes it illegal to knowingly and willfully make false statements to federal officials. This carries penalties, by the way, that can include fines and even imprisonment. On top of that, this is defamation. That is defamation. The act of knowingly spreading false, damaging statements that could severely harm someone's reputation, livelihood, or legal standing. So, yeah, this is serious, and yeah, I normally don't have a tone this serious in a video because we silly and goofy over here, but this is when it's being taken too far for me. And for anyone. And also, I do have to stand up here to my fellow creators and fellow people on social media who this can also happen to. It's insane. I want to talk really quickly about the fact that Ethan Klein ended up posting about this when it happened. So here it is on the H3H3 Productions subreddit. Ethan writes, Adam McIntyre has been promoting and participating in my snark for a long time. He gives them literal shoutouts. So now that it's happened to him, he wants sympathy? Not so funny now. Adam? I'm surprised you even have the nerve to post this after the amount of snarking you've done. Literally reaping what you sow. Spelled incorrectly, by the way. Now, my favorite thing about this is that Ethan Klein took this screenshot from the H3H3 Productions subreddit, one of the largest subreddits online. And by the way, the entire conversation on here is snarking on me, obviously, because they're one of the biggest snark pages. But even more so, one thing I want to bring to your attention is Ethan Klein loves to generalize snark. He uses the word snark when he talks about individuals or communities online that talk about him negatively, and whatever that may be beyond, okay? Keeping it as simple as possible here for terms, because I have a point here, right? So Ethan does that. So even if there were a couple people on a snark who are doing terrible things to him, crossing the line, going too far, he will then generalize that term with snark. So what I can now confidently say is that Ethan Klein's page, the H3H3 Productions, have people on it that are the exact same and worse than what Ethan Klein literally accuses me of ever doing. And you know why? The person who did the post about my visa. Let's do some digging. This is their account, ICFox749. This is all public, as you can see right here, and they were posting about it for 2 weeks before anyone even noticed, right? Sorry, there's a big conversation again where we're seeing people submitting me to ICE. Now, ICFox749. Let me pull this up for you really quick. Oh, I also want to clarify that on my snark, it said one of the rules is no Ballinger bashing. Many of us are Colleen supporters, and we will not tolerate snarking on Colleen, her family, or friends of the Ballingers. We do not require you to be a fan, but respect those of us who are. That's one of the rules. Anyways, so that person who did the post and started this movement, right, about me and my visa and getting me submitted to ICE, when you click on their profile, you see that they are an active member of the H3H3 Productions subreddit. Now, they post very often over there, even as much as posting multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. So, I'm literally just scrolling through and I'm seeing posts that they're doing over the last even just couple weeks. Look at this. Now, again, I only scrolled a little bit down. But we're seeing even from 100 days ago, they're posting on the H3H3 Productions Reddit. And again, literally just seeing within the last couple weeks, they are an active member of the H3H3 Productions Reddit. Now, I have said for a very, very, very long time that I believe that the H3H3 Productions Reddit is one of the biggest snark pages in the entire world. And I will always double down on that point. The H3H3 Productions subreddit is a snark page. What they do is they talk about people and they snark on people. And Ethan Klein himself is also, in my opinion, a snarker. You know why? Because they have this ecosystem. This was a screenshot posted of my video in the H3H3 Productions Reddit. People were snarking on me in the comments. Ethan Klein takes a screenshot of their photo posted on his Instagram story with a caption that then the H3H3 Productions subreddit then repost Ethan's Instagram story, and we're seeing over 200 comments of snark or like this is the ecosystem that they have, and this is what people have a lot of issues with Ethan Klein over, that he is a hypocrite when it comes to snark, okay? And I truly, truly, truly believe that. Now, Ethan has went on to say some more things in a second, but I think it's really fucking crazy that Ethan and the H3H3 Productions Reddit love to bring up, when it comes to me talking about being reported to ICE, that, well, Adam was celebrating, gleefully throwing parties over Ethan having CPS being called on them. And then someone will be like, okay, do you have a clip of that? And then they'll go silent. They're literally implying that with Ethan and the CPS, I was hooting and hollering and throwing a party or even just celebrating it. They're literally saying I was celebrating. Look how sunburned I am, Jesus Christ. They said I was celebrating the CPS call. And that's why this snark ecosystem just feeds off of lies, okay? Just feeds off of constant lies. Now, I want to go on to say that my snark today was banned from Reddit. It was banned from Reddit, by the way, for being, one of the main reasons was it was completely unmoderated, but they also broke the rules of where Reddit, again, like I told you, have this no contact policy where if you're like trying to like meddle with people's in real life. But it's crazy to me that a snark page was completely unmoderated. And of course that would lead to people sending me to ICE. Now, Ethan posted about this. And again, he literally is posting a screenshot from the H3 Productions Reddit. And then he posts about that. And then this gets posted on the H3 Productions Reddit. And then there's more snarking. Are you seeing my point here? You cannot play both sides in this, Ethan. Unlike other creators who speak about their snark, they don't have one of the biggest Reddits of all time. And again, I completely sympathize with the fact that if a Reddit is that big, it's probably incredibly hard to moderate. But that is not an excuse when you are so often posting from that Reddit. And I made it very clear in my video to state I have zero involvement with the Adam McIntyre snark. God rest her soul. Was never a moderator, never wrote in it. Ethan, on the other hand, cannot say that because he actively and daily gets his resources, his receipts, whatever you want to call it, from that very snark, the H3 Productions Reddit. So me and Ethan and other creators who talk about snark are not similar in any way. And that's what, in my opinion, makes Ethan Klein a hypocrite. Ethan writes, I agree with the decision to ban Adam's snark. But it begs the endless, enraging question, the uneven enforcement, the avid protection of our snark subreddit. Why? Our snark has been reporting our Swedish crew member to ICE for the last 2 years, out in the open, unapologetic. So, also, with that point, they're obviously talking about their employee love. If anyone who's watching this right now has that from any of the H3 snarks that may have existed, please send it to me. Because right now, this is another one of those Ethan saying something and then not showing a screenshot for it. I'm not saying anything in any way. I'm just saying, can someone please send me that? Because again, it would so help Ethan's argument if when he would throw out things like this, he would show them as well. And now again, this is me trying to support him here. I'm saying post this stuff as well. That's what I did when they were reporting me to ICE. And that's what got my Reddit taken down. So again, if anyone, I assume it probably won't be Ethan. I'm sure someone on the subreddit will post this and then Ethan will see it. Post this. Again, that may just mean me not being on the internet. Post it so we can all talk about it even more so in the wake of talking about this now. But as of right now, it just is really weird to continue throwing out these just sentences and what, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to publicly show us. And right on Reddit, the admins were aware. They not only refuse to moderate the posts, they deny reports. They provide feedback to the moderators on how to stay compliant. We have one of the largest community subreddits on the entire site. We've never heard from an admin. People have treated me like I'm insane for accusing Reddit of protecting or participating in our snark. I hope this at the least confirms what I've known for a very long time. Reddit is being weaponized by people inside their organization. And now again, I cannot clarify enough that Ethan Klein is literally, while writing about snarks, posting a post from his Reddit, which again is one of, like he says, the biggest communities on Reddit, and again is one of the nastiest snark pages in the entire fucking world. Whether they don't have snark at the end of it, Jesus Christ, whether it's any person that Ethan's talking about on the show, they will target anything about people. And again, even just on that post of this, where they're uploading Ethan's Instagram story about me, the top comment is, Mexican immigrant here. See how ICE is just for Mexicans isn't true? ICE can be weaponized against anyone. If it affects us, it will affect you. Also, don't lay in bed with snarkers. Just a little advice, Adam. What the fuck? And that's the top upvoted one. My entire 2 videos have been talking about the people who are directly being impacted the most by ICE, and also further clarifying that yes, I can be affected by it, but that's not the communities that are being and it's great. Like, literally scrolling through here, this creature claimed CPS calling snark etc. was just trying to help Ethan. So apparently I've said CPS being called on Ethan was just trying to help Ethan. Well, maybe the ICE reports were just trying to save you money on a flight home, you little rat. I love you for this. You little rat felt so good to hear. Creature, not creature. Where did Adam say that people were just trying to help with the CPS? If he said that, he's such a vile, disgusting rat. You know why? Because it never happened. Because the H3 Productions Reddit run with such shit moderation, unless they're talking negatively about Ethan. They run with fake reports, they run with fake stories, and they just have this dumb, never-ending, nasty narrative. I'm pretty sure, didn't Ethan even say online that Reddit he got really pissed where he was like, Reddit were saying, oh, well, your Reddit does a similar thing as what you're accusing other people. There was something like that, right? Because it's true. The people on the H3 Productions Reddit at large are snarkers. That is why they are fucking there. And they've turned on Ethan multiple times as well. And that's where the moderation comes in. It's just... I mean, take a scroll. Take a fucking scroll through this. Literally take a scroll. And you will see that exactly my point. My point. I find it incredibly frustrating what Ethan Klein says when he has one of the biggest, in my opinion, snark pages of all time against every person that he's ever had issues with. That's not taking anything away from pages that snark on Ethan, but I'm saying that it's incredibly hypocritical when he houses one of the biggest places for that on the internet. And furthermore, again, just doubling down on the fact that the person who was doing my post is an active member of the H3 Productions Reddit. So Ethan, I could argue that your people are the snarkers and your people are the one that are reporting me to ICE. You know what I mean? I can't with the hypocrisy. I can't with the lying. I can't with the narrative that he continues to put out, because you know what frustrates me to my core? What frustrates me to my core is when Ethan talks about snark, and I'll be listening to him. I'll be like, that's a good point. That's a good point. And then I'm like, wait, I click on your Instagram story, and not only are you snarking on people all day, every day, but you're posting things from the H3 Productions Reddit, which at its fundamental core at least houses a lot of snarkers. And of course it does when it's that big. But that's what makes it hypocritical. Muckers, I will talk to all of you later. That is the current update. The Reddit has been taken down. They were breaking laws. They were unmoderated. And Reddit acted quick. I will see you all in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well. And goodbye.